Welcome back to Lesscashmoremash. My name's Tom.
And I'm Mike.
And today, Subscriber Sample Saturday. So what are we doing today for Subscriber Sample Saturday? This sample was sent in by Phil Ock. Thank you very much, Phil, for sending this in. And I hope I didn't massacre your name. I wasn't sure on how to say it, but we went with that anyway. So if you're following along, Phil, this happens to be sample B. We had the machine on the other side of the room do it. So we totally random, see what we have. I got your key over here. Still sealed. So I can't wait to try it. Thank you very much for sending this in. Greatly appreciate it. So
let's jump in on this. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So with that being said, and he sent in, I think it's a 4-ounce sample. And look at me miss it too. I'm such a donkey. All right. So for those of you that don't know, Subscriber Sample Saturday is exactly what it is. One of you generous subscribers sent something in. We try to guess type, proof, what we think we'd like to pay for it, whether we think it's finished or not. I'm not sure what he put in for the key, but it doesn't matter to me. I greatly appreciate the fact that you sent it in anyway. So these are very hard to do if you've never tried this.
Very hard, and the nose is not really jumping out right this second.
That's the key, especially when you do a fresh crack like this, because sometimes you don't.
But I don't believe we went across the pond. So there's a plus.
I wasn't sure. These are fancy bottles too, Phil. I just want to say that. Like, we were looking at them. I'm not even saying because it's dark. I'm sure there's more in
blue.
it.
Fancy
but
blue.
That's just it. It's more in it. But I don't think I've even seen them. But I buy most of mine on Amazon. So let me see. It is getting stronger in the nose as we smell, though. I just saw that face. If I can remember to zoom in later, I don't know what that face is all about.
I'll let you take a sip, and you can reference back to me.
That's interesting.
It wasn't the heavy oak.
No.
It was a whole totally different flavor that we've not had yet.
I rolled around on there too.
So did I.
Did it have a little bit of a proof to you? Like not overly, but it definitely has
crazy.
It has a nice little spice to that, though.
There's a different twang in the flavor.
There was definitely a different. I'm trying to. I have to go. I have to.
It is caramel-esque out a little bit now.
Let me see. I tried to pour like the same amount that we normally get, just so we can be on the.
It's nice to know we have a little backup.
It's carameling out, but
it is
there is
carameling out.
Definitely something else in the nose that I.
And see, I took a bigger sip, and that hit a little bit harder.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it had a little proof to it.
See, the first one I just did a little tiny one, but now it's sitting down in my throat, so it may be carrying more than I thought the first time, but I can't get that secondary flavor that's in there. And it reminds me of something.
Yeah, it reminds me of the one we did the other day. It's borderline on that. I'm borderline getting
the grass,
like grassy note.
Are you?
Yeah. It's not as strong yet, but it took me a couple sips last time to get it too on there. All right, let me start off the top. Bourbon.
I'm definitely going definitely bourbon.
I'm thinking bourbon myself.
Yeah, I'm going bourbon.
There's a nice rye spice to this though, because it's staying on my tongue like with the pop rocky feel, and that's the only thing I'm wondering if I'm not getting that like there. And that's what's making me think: could this be like one of the malted ryes, maybe? Like that. That's why I didn't want to jump. It was a bourbon or a rye, but there's a different flavor in there, and we only had one malted rye so far. Even though I bought a couple of them, I think we've only done one.
Now you just said that though, it could be a malted rye because there is a light hint, but it does have now almost a semi baby orgeat when you swish it on your.
Well, because it's giving me that if it's not a rye, I'd have to go with like a. I'm staring towards like maybe a malted rye. I'm thinking in my head.
I agree with you on that.
The more I keep, because the grassy taste has gone away, and I'm kind of getting more of like that malty feel to it on it.
We haven't done many of these.
I haven't. That's right. So we're kind of in the, but that's it's what I'm kind of
now
steering
that's
towards
what we-
that. So let's see. Only because it's drinking with a lot of flavor, but it's leaving the pork property feeling on my tongue, which is
So
going
it's
to be
leaving
like,
me. It's leaving me the baby origin.
which is right. So to me, that's either a high rye bourbon or it's bringing me into where I think it could possibly be an actual rye. But there's definitely a different taste.
No mint on the nose.
None. But that's right. But I'm wondering if it's a malted rye, the one we had, it's been so long since I drank it, and I remember the one we drank. Come on, you're pain in the butt. I don't know why you come under the table. I can't get you up. When we did it before, it masked the heat of it. I remember it being a higher proof one.
That's what I was just.
But it didn't drink that way
what
at
I'm
all.
working on now because it's.
I know we might have to empty the jar here. Bro, this is a good one, Phil. This is a tough one.
It is.
This is a tough one. And I could keep. Oh, now I got a whole different nose. Could be a wet dog in front of me too that could be doing that. But
That could be because it hasn't changed in my nose. But
so, as far as finished, I'm not getting anything other than I do like this. By the way, I like this a lot.
I'm not hating it at all. I'm sitting there. If you see my mind smoking, it's because I'm trying to do proof, and I'm like it probably.
We're gonna have to re-pour. I'm going with a malted rye. I think I'm getting that malty flavor in the middle of that. Yeah,
with the baby orgeat mint, not mint, but the tongue.
I'm gonna need one more sip.
And I'm gonna go one. I think we're over 100.
I agree with that. But the tricky part is when you have a rye, I can't tell how much is left, so I'm gonna try my best to split it between the two of us. I did as good as I could. I didn't realize there was only that little bit left. It's hard to see because it's a blue bottle. But I don't think it's. This is going to be one of the ones I think that's going to be tricky. I think I'm going to say about 108 maybe. I'm thinking just over 100.
That's where I was, but I'm like, there's really never anybody at 102.
No,
for whatever reason. That's so
But the funny thing is for some reason the way it sits on my tongue, it's going to end up being like 122 or something like that. But
you think?
I think I'm getting that. I think I'm instead of that.
So we really never got when I took the bigger sip, it did stick in my throat.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say unfinished because I'm going to stick with the malted rye feel for me. Now, what do you think?
I'm going to go 114.
All right.
I don't know if it's that hot. It's probably
it might actually be because I remember the last one it masked because that rye spices
drink it like 100.
Yeah.
But what are you?
I'm going to say 108 on mine.
What was the other one? I don't think it's finished.
Mm-mm.
And price?
If it's not a malted rye, this has got to be one of the products like that. I get that borderline grassy because it's it's hard to pick between when I get the grassy taste or when I get that. I'm thinking it's malted. I think it's a malted one.
Initially had a huge different flavor.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of the nose is coming into a bourbon-esque land. But
what do we think of price? What do you think? I'm trying to think the prices I did on my malted rye when I bought it. I'm thinking to me what I would like to pay or what I think this is very good to me. I would love to be around $79.99 is what I was thinking in my price range. But I think this could be upwards of 100 anyways to be depending on if it's a specialty bottle or something like that. But this is drinking very good.
No, it is. Me. And there is still a flavor in here that I can't pinpoint. Imagine that. But
I am getting a slight fruit too. It's in the front now. I didn't
knowing that because we just did a malted rye. Most of them are pricey.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So with that,
that's why I said upwards of 100. I don't think
in the perfect world would $69.99 be a score? Probably.
Right.
Reality is probably, what did you say, 89?
I said I'd love it at like $79.99. But I think if it hit up to $100, I would not be upset with it because I know if it is a malted rye, then they aren't cheap for sure. So,
this is probably like $99.99.
That's kind of where that's why I said.
Because I was with the riff, I think was upwards of that way.
Right.
So that's where I'm going to go.
Okay. Well, we ready then? Let's see what it is.
As ready as can be. We'll see if
thank you again
more or not.
For sending this in. We'll see how close we even came out of any of this.
If we're even in the ballpark.
Wow. So this is, I'd never even heard of them. Old Line Spirits. It's an American single malt. It's Navy strength, 114 proof. Navy guy, you nailed it right on the head. So it's Virgin American oak. It's distilled in Ohio, aged and bottled in West Baltimore, Maryland. Nice. I'm gonna have to Google this one. I've never even heard of it. So this is another. Well, you know what? It is malt. It is a single malt. So this brings me in the single malt area where we were kind of with Bullet, but this is way better than the Bullet.
It's got to be that malt that gives it that extra little tweak.
Right.
And this was a totally different than the Bullet.
100%. Well, that's why I said it was a malted rye. That's
it
what
definitely
it
does not drink 114.
So the single malt, it absolutely doesn't.
This would knock you down.
I'll put the price down below just for curiosity factor. Like I'll try to do a range and get an estimate price on what this could actually be. He doesn't have it written down, but again, we didn't grade it. But so without even knowing, I should have graded it before we did that. Where would you put this one?
I'm pretty content in B plus actually.
Yeah, see, I was going almost A-. I actually really like the flavor of this, because I there is a complexity with that extra malt, and I was getting like a high rye. I'll be curious to see again if I can find out.
I could live with a B plus.
Right. If I do end up figuring out the mash bill, well, it's a single malt, so it's probably 100% malt.
It's really bourbon. It's really getting caramel-esque bourbon nose.
Yeah,
that's what really.
So it's not the rye spice. It was the actual 114 proof that was tingling on my tongue. Which is there's absolutely zero I don't like about this. Again, I'll run the pictures. I didn't say that in the beginning of the video, but we 100% have no idea. I've never even heard of these guys. But we'll have to see how far for everyone that's around how far this actually goes out. So you guys around the country, it was Old Line Spirits.
Line, L-I-N-E?
L-I-N-E, yes, Old Line Spirits.
I wonder if that's a military one.
It says Navy strength, so I don't know.
It might be part of the line group. All right, okay.
Why is that?
They got shirts and all kinds of different
stuff. Oh, no kidding.
Right?
Well, there you go. But, no. Very good. This is definitely something I've never seen. So would it only be something that would be on military bases?
No,
or they ship all around?
Probably so.
Well, there you go. So everyone around the country, if you get a chance to do this,
I've never seen it.
I don't know what it costs.
I'll look in Google to see what it looks like.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'll have to do some research on it. I'll try to write down the price or average price of whatever I find when it's around. But if you guys see it around the country, leave a comment down below. I'll be curious if you can get it and how much it is in your area, because I always like that anyway. So, well, there you go. That's Subscriber Sample Saturday. We didn't do horrible, actually. No, you nailed the proof. Neither one of us gets single malt, but you know what? It's funny that that category is becoming. Well, we did get it. We were close, but it's becoming a big category. But there's such a variation in flavors when you have different single malts. So far,
yeah, because there's something totally different
in this. This would be one I would love to get a bottle of this because I'm wondering how much this keeps because it keeps changing in my glass every time I bring it to my nose. So. Yeah, I would definitely. Yep. So, well, there you go. So, thank you, Phil, once again.
Thank you so much.
Greatly appreciate it. You guys sending us in stuff like this, and this was a challenging one. No. So, that being said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Spend less, drink more. Cheers.